As Journal with Witch continues its stellar first season, it's also carving out a signature little storytelling technique. In a number of its episodes, it will start with what seems like a few different disparate conversations. Sometimes they happen in different places, sometimes they even happen at different times. The episode will cut back and forth between them, and at first it's a bit jarring. But slowly, as each one moves along, these little thematic threads start to tie them together. By the time the episode reaches its climax, all of these seemingly separate conversations are presenting one concrete idea. It's like storytelling magic, seeing this murky mismatch of ideas and characters become crystal clear by the very end. Episode 9 of the season gives us another example of this technique, rooting it in Assa's desires to have a more prominent role in the band club. But what starts as a simple goal spirals into an introspection of the very nature of how we view ourselves, what gives us purpose and meaning. Like everything else in this show, it's a stark look at these subjects, and refuses to give us easy answers. But it also uses its harsh truths to point us at the things we can control, and also the good that comes from the struggle. So, what does Journal with Witch show us about our search for purpose and identity? And how can this stretch into the love we have for ourselves and those around us? This episode starts in the past, 5 years ago. Makio and her friends are celebrating the new year, enjoying each other's company. One of her friends proclaims that she's had an epiphany, that she will never fall in love again. Back in the present, Assa returns to school for the first time after grieving her parents properly. At band club, she sees that a fellow classmate has been elevated to a playing position. Determined to progress herself, Assa tries writing song lyrics. She goes to Makio for advice, but finds a roadblock. She can't figure out what to say. Moreover, she doesn't understand what having something to say feels like at all. From here, we begin the interlaced storytelling that I talked about at the start. The first thread takes place when Kasamachi comes to visit. He reflects on his own journey with working at the bank, and his parents' reactions to it. The second involves Makio's friend Juno helping her out of a writing slump. Juno speaks about the ebbs and flows of our lives and careers, falling in and out of love with our passions and work. The third thread is when Emiri comes to visit, and she and Assa ask Makio about her own path being a writer. Both of them are beginning to think about their own careers, and the anxiety around that choice. The fourth and final storyline involves that New Year's party 5 years ago, and Makio reflecting on her friend's epiphany. In and amongst all 4 of these stories, Assa is on her own search for identity and purpose as well. The way that all of these moving parts blend and overlap is masterful, using themes and ideas to stretch across space and time. And at the very end of the episode, Assa heads off to school and Makio watches her leave. So much changed while still staying all the same. Assa is the focal point of this episode, and is first and foremost defined by her jealousy. "It's not fair" is her mantra, beginning with how she looks at her fellow band club member and stretching into the rest of the episode. It's tempting to say that Assa is jealous of the success of others, but I don't think that's quite it. Assa is unsure of who she is. At counseling, she can't come up with anything to say. When she and Emiri walk home together, she wishes that someone could choose her career path for her. Her lyrics that she writes are lacking not because they aren't bold, but because they have no direction. Her outcry to Makio is harsh but deeply revealing. Her life is incredibly difficult, and yet she cannot express that in a compelling way. She views herself as plain, and this comes across as a great insult. Everyone who comes into her home expresses a great amount of regrets and concerns and insecurities, and yet to Assa, they are all hovering above her. She sees everyone else as knowing who they are, and then pitting that against what the world throws at them. Without that, she feels alone and directionless. Her cry to Juno that she will become the person she wants to be is defiant, and yet a bit pitiful. But there's also a seed of hope here. Assa is on the precipice of understanding a deeper truth, that shouting defiantly into the void in this way is maybe the most human thing one can do. I just gave you Assa's perspective in this episode, but there's another side to everything going on. To us, the audience, the great irony of Assa's agony is that everyone else around her is clearly going through the same thing. Emiri is grappling with the same dilemma of choice that Assa is as a high school student, and also still has these questions of romance and sexuality swirling around her. Kasamachi revealed to us in previous episodes how difficult his relationship with his parents was, and how traumatic his experience working at the bank was. Juno carries the guilt of changing her mother's life, on top of the Sisyphean experience of being a writer as a career. And let us not forget Makio, who acts as the best foil to Assa this episode. Assa looks at her and sees someone with plenty of flaws, but also an unyielding sense of purpose. Gazing up at her late in the night, it's clear that she feels a chasm between her insecurities and Makio's unrelenting drive. And yet, when Makio describes how she views writing, the visceral and combative nature speaks to a struggle not dissimilar to Assa's own fight for purpose. When Makio reflects on her life as Assa heads to school, she confesses how little she knows about herself still. And this, of course, is the thematic conclusion to the episode. The great reveal is that Assa may be alone in her search for identity and purpose, but everyone is in the same boat. Shouting into the void like Assa may not be hopeless. It may be the entire point. Journal with Witch is a testament to the individuality of the human experience. But with the way that it twists and overlays different characters and their experiences, it draws out what we all share. Episode 9 is one of the best examples of this, forcing Assa to confront what it is she wants to do and who she wants to be. The people around her try to provide perspective and knowledge, but they also inadvertently make her feel more alone than ever. To us, the audience, though, we get a more complete picture of how common Assa's experience is. This struggle is universal and never really ends. It's not an easy idea to stomach, but the truth in it makes it maybe a bit more manageable. What's more Journal with Witch than that? And that ends today's episode of Love and Anime. As soon as I finished this episode, I knew that I had to make a video about it. Storytelling this intricate is so impressive and effective. I can't think of another show that is so ambitious in the ideas it tries to express. If you enjoyed the video today and like video essays about romance, anime, and romance anime, liking and subscribing helps a ton and will keep you in the loop, as does hitting the hype button on the mobile app. I'm Slam Anime, and I'll see you next time.